Etsy News. What's the fallout of the investor report? Is Etsy telling you to hurt your friends' shops? And what's happened to the share price? And importantly, are Etsy just about to crack down on people? All that and possibly more in today's episode of Etsy News. Okay, first of all, is Etsy cracking down? A large number of people have been receiving emails. These are not scams, these are from Etsy. This is Etsy's trust and safety team, is usually what they're saying. So one that most people have been seeing is we're getting in touch as a reminder that listings on Etsy must meet our listing image requirements in order to comply with our seller policy. So lots of people have had this, and as we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Etsy have changed their listing image requirements. They have changed that policy, and it's important to check on it. Now, if you're getting this email, not everybody is doing things that are non-compliant. There are people, one of the big changes, of course, has been if you sell personalized, like print-on-demand items, or if you personalize your own items, you're not allowed to have a listing with like a mock-up with a placeholder text that says your name here or something. Now, where there's a grey area here is there's quite a lot of people who've not done a mock-up or a placeholder text, but they make their physical items themselves by hand, and they've made something that physically says your name here or something. So they've engraved it or wood burned or screen printed it on an actual t-shirt. I think Etsy, at the minute in time, Etsy aren't taking down these listings. They're just reaching out to say, hey, it looks like you're in the kind of category that people do this kind of thing. Go away and have a look at our policy. It's not clear whether these people with finished product items that physically say your name here are breaking the rules. Obviously, I don't feel that they are. The policy states that your items have to represent the final piece, not a placeholder piece. Well, that does represent the final piece as much as putting the name there, but I reach out to Etsy. But in general, they're just saying, check, everything's okay. Absolutely triple check. There's been others, some saying we've seen concerns that messages violate our policies. Other ones saying some of your listings violate our policies. So they're cracking down and looking into things. So you might get something like this if some people you've messaged, I'm assuming here, if some people you've messaged have marked your messages as spam. And this is an absolute pain because some buyers who are also sellers are worried about not responding to things quickly enough if they don't feel they have to respond to it. There's also plenty, like on the forums every day, you'll see people going, I got this message from a potential customer, is it spam? And the customer's just asking, hey, can you customize this? Or, hey, can you do this for me? Genuine questions, but people are marking them as spam. So this might have happened. Again, they're just saying you are at risk. They're not saying reaching out about concerns. They're not saying you have done something wrong. They're saying, hey, make sure you're not doing something wrong. So warning. Another one, it's the mature policy. The mature listing policy has changed and they're reaching out to people. So I have a feeling that this is the automated messages going out and saying, we're checking that everything's okay. We're kind of giving you a heads up just now. It doesn't mean that you've done anything wrong. In fact, even if your listings were taken down, I've heard people always hearing people having their listings reinstated. So if you feel you've done nothing wrong, contact Etsy if they've taken down one of your listings. If you absolutely have read the policies that they link to and you're sure you're not doing anything wrong, don't need to make any changes, in my opinion. But I do feel that Etsy is, well, they've said they want to be cracking down. They want to remove more listings and more sellers that don't meet their standards, that don't follow their rules. So I have an idea that probably a sweep is coming. They're going to be cracking down harder. And the likelihood that they'll be checking the shops that they've identified as potentially being at higher risk of a bad thing. If I was Etsy, I would start there. So if you've had these emails, triple check that everything's correct according to Etsy. If you haven't had these emails, double check. I think crackdown is coming. Also, more hearts are coming. This is for US sellers only or for using the app. But again, people are going, is this message a spam? It's not a spam. Etsy's running a contest to win $100. And all you have to do is, using the app, favorite 10 or more listings. People are worrying about this because of the myths going out there. Randomly favoriting people's listings does not make a spammer, and it doesn't hurt the people you're favoriting, and it doesn't hurt you. People go, oh, this potential customer they're obviously some kind of scammer because they've got thousands of hearts. Guys, when we've been around for a while, there used to be favourite games going about, or we used to favourite all the people in our team to support them. We used to favourite a lot more. So Etsy's trying to get us back into the app and favouriting a bit more. It's not going to hurt them. It's not going to hurt the people you favourite. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to help or hurt. Favourites can be a good way of collating the kind of things you like the look of. They can be a good way. Some people do it to give a boost to the shop, to be like, hey, I really like the look of this. I can't afford to buy just now, but I want to let you know I like the look of it. And if nothing else, getting a heart tells you you're getting seen somewhere. You're getting seen by somebody because they have to find you to be able to heart you. But don't worry about it, but there is a chance there will be increased number of hearts. I bet you plenty of people will sign up for that, hoping for that $100, and they'll figure, if we heart all the things, we'll have more chance. I don't think you will. I don't think that's how it works. When it gets to 10, Etsy will be like, yep, you're entered to this draw. $100, big money there, Etsy. But yeah, don't spend all your day hearting things. If you're in the US and you want to do that, absolutely dive into the app, heart a few things. It's probably Etsy's way to get people to use the app a bit more, because that's something they mention in the investor report, that people are using the app spend more on Etsy in the long run. We don't have the data on that. Etsy just mentioned it without giving us all the facts, but yeah, they're pushing people to use the app. Okay. How did Etsy shares do after this? Now, of course, everybody always, the day after, it's like, Etsy shares share prices dropped by this much because of the quarterly report. They always take a dip. But I've just got this the shares price for Etsy zoomed out to 1 month. I didn't even go any further. Yes, they've been bad for the last year or so. It's definitely had a dip. But if you look at the dip since the financial report, it's taken a dip, but it's not even as low as a month ago. So I think Q1 Etsy were very cautiously negative. They were saying things were going to be bad. So they were able to stand up and say things are bad, but they're not as bad as we predicted they'll be bad. So things didn't go down so much. And actually, looking at the news for the week, quite a lot of the share analyst experty people are rating Etsy just now as a strong buy or neutral. So I'm not a shares expert. I'm not telling you what to do, but don't go off and buy shares because of what I said. But the market didn't sound quite as negative. And in fact, if you look at the news from the past week, things have been taken fairly well. Everything in the news is mainly talking about the new buyer loyalty program, not even in a positive or negative light, just saying Etsy doing it. So yeah, they did a good job of releasing some news to hide any potential negative news. A few people have asked me to talk about this. It is a couple of weeks old, but people are saying you haven't spoke about how Etsy's lost its handmade and vintage labels, and we did notice a few weeks ago Etsy has changed how you categorize things to say products must fall into one of 4 categories: made by, designed by, etc., etc. At the minute in time, you can still filter all items in vintage, but yes, it is possible that things will be changed for what the customer sees shortly. I don't think, well, yes, it is allowing some other things that weren't allowed to be sold before, like gift boxes. But I don't think so much it's saying, oh, we're stopping being a handmade platform. What Josh has been speaking about, and I'm no stand for Josh, we all know that, but what Josh has been talking about is, quite rightly, customers don't just want to see handmade, they want to know how handmade. So Etsy is working on that. Whether this is going to be a system that we enjoy and we think is good when it comes out to what customers see is a different matter, but I don't think they're trying to move away from handmade. They seem to be cracking down on shops that they don't like quite a lot. And the advertising campaign is very much based on made by this person, designed by this person. So they are hopefully going to be explaining more what that's all about, as it were, to customers. So yes, it does. I think it makes sense. I'm not worrying about it, because at the end of the day, if someone sculpts a clay pot from scratch, that is very, very different to someone taking elements of Creative Fabrica, putting them on a t-shirt for print on demand. And I'm not against, well, I'm against some types of print on demand. I'm not against print on demand. It's a very useful tool. But, well, if we use other comparisons, the difference between somebody themselves hand bleaching, hand tie-dyeing, and then hand screenshotting a t-shirt compared to sending a design to another company, neither one's wrong or right. But if I'm buying, I'd like to know which I'm buying. I absolutely buy stuff that's mass manufactured all the time, and sometimes I would like to support a designer who's doing the print on demand of that mass manufactured stuff. That's absolutely fine. But there's other times I would like to support someone who's doing the screen printing themselves and stuff as well. So it's nice to be able to know the differences. But I'm not against everybody who is hand making things, hand designing, doing it properly within the rules. All great. Let me know what you think. I'm going off on a tangent there. Anyway, thank you so much.
And if you have some dreams to craft and share, Coach Pam's got wisdom, don't despair. Turn your passions into things that bling. With each video